So I'm going to go ahead. It's 6:05. And I do know that we have a lot of information to go on the slide. And Tara and I were very firm, or Tara was very firm with me since I'm so long-winded, that this should only take an hour. So we need to go ahead and get started. Tara, can you start the slide? The first thing that we really want to do is thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule for joining us this evening. And the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to just have the staff of Palmetto CAP introduce themselves to you, and then we'll go straight into the PowerPoint. I didn't know, Ms. Tara, if you wanted to put up the agenda while we were introducing ourselves. And
yes,
good evening. Good evening, everyone. My name is Jennifer Brown. I am the Director of Employment and Education Services with Palmetto Community Action Partnership. We will be the department that will be leading or kind of feeding into our Circles Palmetto USA. And I want to then just turn it over to Ms. Reba, and then the other staff from Palmetto CAP can then join in. Reba.
Hi, my name is Reba Huff Martin. I'm the Deputy Director at Palmetto Community Action Partnership, and you've already been welcomed, but I want to also give my welcome to you for coming to learn more about Circles. Circles is a wonderful program. It's the program that we have been waiting for. It ties all the missing pieces together, and I'm very excited to have Ms. Jennifer bring it to Palmetto CAP. But we will need your help and the help of the community to make it a success. So wait till you hear it. This is a great program.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Shanez Scott, and I'm the Adult Case Manager in the Employment and Education Department at Palmetto Community Action Partnership. And I want to thank you guys for joining us tonight.
Thank you, Summer.
Hi, y'all. Sorry, I was doing a little snacking, but it's good to see everyone tonight. I'm Summer Standiford. I'm the Executive Coordinator at Palmetto CAP, so I have the pleasure of working with Ms. Reba's team and Ms. Tara, helping as I can, seeing all the magic happen. It's a really great program, so I'm really excited to see what we can do with it.
Thank you. And did I see Tycee?
Yes.
Okay, Tycee?
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm Tatiana. I am currently the research assistant with Palmetto CAP. This is my first time here in the Circles, so they're very excited to CAP.
And so just a little sidebar to kind of emphasize what Reba was saying, why we're so passionate about filling in the gaps, or why we're so passionate about the work that we do. Tycee is one of our babies. She was in our Summer Youth Works program, which is the component that Employment and Education, as well as Palmetto CAP, if you start young or you start addressing the issues that we see with the adult clients that we serve before they get to adulthood, they can probably avoid having to go join a Circles or having to come to a human service agency. So Tycee did 3 years as a Summer Youth Works intern. She will be a junior at University of South Carolina in August, and she's now working with us in Ms. Reba's department. So we try to live what we preach. Thank you. And then Tara.
Wait, before you move to Tara, Tycee has some updated news for you about December.
I'm ready. I think she froze.
Oh.
She froze.
Oh, she plans to graduate a semester early. So she'll be graduating in December if everything works out according to plan. And that was yeah. And that was because, you know, she did those associate's degree programs. So she had
Dual
those
credit. Mhm.
already. Yeah.
Awesome. So proud of you,
The way to
Ticey.
do it. Yeah, she's a
Awesome.
trailblazer.
Congratulations, Ticey. I'm pretty sure Ms. M already knows about that. If not, I will be sharing the news when I see her tomorrow. Thank you. And Tara?
That's exciting. Congratulations, Ty. We're happy for you. My name is Tara Durham. I'm the development coordinator for Palmetto CAP, and I am one of the helpers with Palmetto Circles, or Circles Palmetto, I'm sorry, with just getting everything up and running.
Awesome. Well, we're going to go ahead and get started. So I think Ms. Tara has a video for us to watch.
Please let me know if you can't hear it. I did share sound. But if you don't hear it, let me know.
Poverty. The facts are shocking and troubling. More than 43 million people in our country fall below the poverty line. 14.5 million of those living in poverty are children. Almost 14% of households have had difficulty providing enough food due to lack of money or resources. There are many people in poverty in the United States, hurting, feeling trapped, looking for a way out, but they haven't found it yet. But there is something each of us can do to help them and their families now and for generations to come. Meet Circles USA, a national organization that's been helping people lift themselves out of poverty for more than 20 years. With more than 70 local chapters and counting, the Circles Proven model is making a difference in communities across North America. You see, we all have different circles we run in. There are work circles, circles of friends and family, neighborhood circles. When you put these circles together, you get a pretty diverse group of people who have helped us grow by sharing their knowledge, experience, and at times, their strength. But not everyone's circles are as big or as diverse. The circles of people who fall below the poverty line mostly include others dealing with poverty and looking for a way out. At Circles USA, we're people committed to our mission. We're opening the door to help individuals and families find the support and skills they need to break the cycle. They become the circle leader, supported by their allies who are deeply committed volunteers from all income levels who become friends and supporters. Each volunteer shares their insights, strategies, and tools. They give support and encouragement, and together help the circle leader create and follow their unique path to prosperity. Circles USA provides the leader with education, tools, and emotional support they can use to open doors to new opportunities. The leader's circle grows. They get excited about their future. They break the cycle of poverty. To make this happen, we need you to take action. You can volunteer to be a Circles ally to befriend and support circle leaders in your community. Your financial support will help us expand the circles. Your business can involve your employees and hire new ones, or you can start a new Circles chapter in your community. Please join us. Together, we will make the circle grow bigger and stronger, and that will make all the difference.
Thank you, Tara. So basically, that video really sums it up in a nutshell. We need all of you to help us expand our circles so that we can make our circle leaders successful. And so what Circles does is we will just provide you with a supportive service and move on. We will be developing a relationship with the circle leaders. And what it has shown is that 80% of 80 communities in the US, and I think that has actually grown because when I was in the Circles meetings today, we, as well as 2 other sites, were brand new, but it is growing around in the community. And one of the great things about it is that it's an 18-month commitment and you do see an increase in income. One of the things that we have done at Palmetto CAP is we first started getting ahead, which is part of AHA, which is part of Bridges Out of Poverty, if anyone is familiar with that. And we had a very successful cohort or very successful groups from 2020 as well as 2021. And one of the reasons why that is because majority of the people that were in Getting Ahead have been with us for, some people have been with us for over 5 years. And so what happened, they had a relationship with employment and education. And so they were committed and believed that we supported them, and then they were able to do Getting Ahead. But Palmetto CAP Circle is only so big, and we want to expand that by making sure that our clients can finally make that final step to self-sufficiency and out of poverty. Next. So basically what the circles do, it's simple. It's the mission of community action. It's probably a personal mission, and it's the reason why you're here today, because you want to help. We want to get families out of poverty. And how you get families out of poverty is you can remove the barriers that's keeping people in poverty. You go to the root of the problem and you put a plan in place to remove it or solve it or have a different way of tackling the issues that come up for you and your family. Next. So basically, you guys know Palmetto CAP Circle, but in order for us to grow our circle, we need your involvement. And there's many opportunities for you to expand the Palmetto Circle. So basically, the program participants are circle leaders. The allies are the support or the direct support group to the circle leaders. The coaches is basically Shanez and Nikidra Lumar, who are currently working as case managers, but in circles, we're called coaches. And then we have a coordinator that kind of keeps all the circles of balls together. Now, our youth program is very connected to our circle leaders, and this is very more common pre-COVID or as we transition back into a hybrid or in person with safety measures protocol. We never want childcare to be an issue why you can't come to an in-person event. So we have a youth program that addresses that. We already have our training facilitator who is a licensed therapist. And then we have all these teams or smaller circles. And that's what we're going to talk about to see. Now, as you can see, the green circle is the biggest circle, which is the ally circle, and it's a different color. And that's because that's really the meat and potatoes of how we're going to help our circle leaders. So Allies Changes Lives, and Tara has another video for us.
What I like about Circles is that they try to attack the challenge of poverty in Pittsburgh through relationship building.
It's easier to make a relationship with one person and get to know them than it is to try to take on these really big concepts like gaps in socioeconomic status, things like racism on the relational level. The title of being called an ally. My goal is to be alongside someone to lift them up. My goal is not to have an agenda on someone else's life.
I mean, it's kind of like being a friend. So being an ally is pretty much everything that you would expect your friend to be there. So when things are going really well, you're celebrating with them and also talking about it when things don't go so well.
It's more of a support system. It's not a job. It's actually rewarding physically, emotionally, mentally. You don't have to be some special skilled person. It doesn't take a whole other part of my life to be a part of it.
You know, we are all in it together. So hopefully at the end of this journey, they will feel that, you know, they're not alone.
Since I've been going through this program, they have helped me with getting my finances together and feeling more confident with managing my money. And I'm actually in the process of purchasing my first home.
I've been on my own since I was 16.
to actually ask people for help is extremely hard. I'm okay with asking for help. I actually look forward to it now. My ally, I love her. She doesn't judge me, and I can be open and honest. And I don't have to feel afraid to not know something. That has been an awesome feeling, to be able to have somebody you can call, and that's not family, but it is family.
Circles, it's a family and it's a community of people who care and love each other, and you don't feel like anyone is judging you for where you came from.
A community that purposefully puts people from different walks of life together, and you find that you actually are stronger together.
Where else can you kind of look around the space and you see people who are from so many different backgrounds, being in community, sit and break bread with one another, celebrate our successes, and talk about the things that don't go so well. It's created a space that doesn't exist today in the 21st century.
Thank you, Tara. So basically the allies, it's not, the biggest thing is it's not a mentoring or mentorship program. It's a relationship, and hopefully it will become a friendship. One of the things that I really want to stress, that becoming an ally is an 18-month commitment. And it does require you to do 6 to 8 hours a month. But with technology, with us being very flexible and having to try new things, that doesn't always have to be face-to-face. That could be emails, that could be text, that could be Zoom, FaceTime. You do have to have some boundaries. It is a relationship, but you do have to set some boundaries. And one of the things that we will do is we will provide you training that will probably be done as a combination of Zoom or self-taught, like a webinar, things of that nature. And then we also require all allies to pass a background check. I think the biggest thing is, I say this as working in human service my entire career, my clients have taught me more than anything I ever learned in a classroom or training. They've made me the case manager that I am today. And that's because I learned from them. And when you become an ally, you'll be giving your expertise on what makes you able to be an entrepreneur or know how to balance a budget and things of this nature. But people that are living in poverty, people that are juggling a lot of balls, they're very resourceful. And they've made it this far without circles or without an ally. So they have some skills that they bring to the table as well. And they will be teaching us too. So it's a partnership, and it's going to be a full circle where we're both giving and receiving. Next. The next group of teams is the community teams, and Tara is going to talk about those with us.
So the allies are right there with the circle leaders throughout the program, but there are a lot of other teams and people needed to make the circles program a success. And the first one is what we call the community team. And they break the community team down into 3 key areas of hospitality, meals, and the children's program. And I want to talk a little bit about what each team is responsible for if you decided you wanted to participate. And as we go through all of these different teams and talk about the allies and ways to be involved with circles and ways to create change within our community, please think about people in your circle who may be good at some of these different roles. Because as you listen, you might go, that is not for me. I do not deal with kids well. But you might know somebody who is really good with kids, who would like to be involved. So just keep in mind as we go through this, that we are talking to you about these opportunities, but we're also asking you to think of other people who may be interested in being a part of making that change in someone's life. So our first team is the hospitality division. The hospitality division, they are there to help us with our 4 in-person events that we will have with our first cohort. So our first cohort is going to be primarily online, but we will have 4 meetings where everybody comes together. And that's when we're really going to need the hospitality team. This is the team that is going to help us find space, maintain the space that we're going to be used for our meetings, welcome and register everyone as they come in. If you have an association with a place we can use to meet, we would love to hear about that. We think churches probably would be one of the most ideal locations because they have facilities for children and for adults, and usually a kitchen too, because at these meetings we do serve a meal. So this is basically working with the space we're going to be in, and registering people, greeting people. Because you will be with our circle's leaders and their children will be coming through, you must be able to pass a background check. And we do ask that you commit to the 4 in-person events. We'll have those dates available before we start our training to help you with whether or not this is a commitment you can make. But that's team number 1. Team number 2, or division number 2 on the community team, y'all, I love a good spaghetti supper. I mean, I just can't tell you how much a good spaghetti supper. I just go and it's delicious. So that's why I picked that picture, because I just always picture going out to different events and there's that spaghetti supper. So our meals division is there to manage the meal setups and clean up, secure and schedule meals for meetings. Now you don't have to have spaghetti and you don't even have to cook. Because if you know somebody who wants to sponsor a meal and have Chick-fil-A bring in chicken nuggets and sides for a meal, that we are perfectly fine with that. The meals team will also help manage on site, getting meals plated, getting them served, and to the people. And because you are, again, working with all of the people involved in the event, including children, we do say that you must pass a background check. And again, for our first cohort of circles, this will only be a commitment of 4 nights, plus the planning that goes into the meeting. So you would get there early, set everything up for the meal, help serve the meal, and then get everything cleaned up. And again, you don't have to do the cooking. Now, if you want to do spaghetti, if you want to do hot dogs, if you want to go big and like cook a steak and baked potato, we're good with that too. But we're not asking for that. But we want to make sure that everybody gets fed when they're there, because the meetings will probably take place, Ms. Brown, correct me if I'm wrong, probably take place in the evenings around dinner time. And we want to—
That is correct. That is correct.
And we want to make sure that that everybody has a chance to grab dinner while they're involved with the program. And the meals will be for our leaders, our allies, and our other committee members who will be at those meetings. And then there's our children's program that we will need people to help with the children while our circles leaders are engaged in meeting activities. So we are running our children's program age 0 to 12. We will have the 6 pillars in Character Counts curriculum that will be part of what we do during that time. So we'd ask that you become familiar with that, and we'll provide the information on it. We'll try to estimate the number of children to be served at each meeting. If you are able to get that in advance, that's great. If not, we'll work with you on that. Volunteering with the children. I will say that the way I got into nonprofit work was volunteering with children many years ago now. And it is so rewarding to just spend the time with the kids, and they look forward to seeing you. And we only have four in-person events again that you would need to work with the children during that time. And again, we'll provide curriculum, we'll provide materials. We just need you to be there to guide and lead activities with the children during the time of the meeting, and to go through some training for safety, of course. The services team, Ms. Brown, do you want to take over with the services team, or am I?
Yes, ma'am, I'll do that. Thank you so much, Tara, for the information. So the service team will be, is connected to the community. Now, I will say that the service team will have some members of the Palmetto CAP staff involved. But again, we need your circle as well. A lot of times our community resource guys or the people that we refer people to are kind of doing the same type of work we're doing. If we are not able to help a family with their rental assistance, or if we're not able to help a family after school has started with uniforms or clothes for school, we reach out to other agencies or other resources in the community that can provide that. However, one of the things that stands out to me is that mental health has a major impact on people being able to be successful at keeping employment. But Palmetto CAP is not a mental health agency. So we're very limited with our resources of referring people to that. So what we're looking for volunteers on this team to be is a human resource guide. So you may work in mental health and be able to refer a lot of resources to that. And I'm not just referring to mental health. I'm just saying that we want volunteers in this particular group to bring their Rolodex, their connections in the community, so that we can have a human resource guide to plug in every gap or barrier that a circle leader may be experienced that is preventing them from moving on to the next step and being able to increase or reach their SMART goals. Next. And then the next team is Job and Education Team, Opportunity Awakes. And, you know, I actually volunteered for this team. I wonder why, but I really see this becoming, as we move more into hybrid or in person, or when we have other big view events, and we're going to talk about that in a minute, I really see this becoming a annual job fair or mock interviews. Social media, resumes, big talk that's on social media right now is if it's okay to go to the bank with a bonnet on. Is it okay to go to work with a bonnet on? Sometimes you just got to have some of those love auntie conversations. And that's what we want this team to be able to do. We're hearing this in the human service field a lot. Nobody wants to work because they're getting an extra $300 in unemployment. People that work in human service know that there's much more to the story. So we really want people to come here, not only bringing information about employment opportunities, but we're looking for people to do mock interviews. We're looking at people to review resumes. We're looking at people to help us build relationships. Some of us attended a meeting today with other circle leaders. And one of the things that came up is how low-income people are $80,000 in debt, but have no degree, or have something that's only worth the piece of paper that they're in. And what happens is when they come to Palmetto CAP or comes to an agency, I'm already $80,000 in debt, but no degree. But if we can work with you before you sign that commitment, and I won't name any of those training and college facilities, but if you can talk to somebody on the job and education team first, you'll be an educated consumer and you would know what the red flags to look for. Because when we do when we're doing the mock interviews, when we're doing the resume review, sometimes we may have to have the youth program in place. So this too will be a team that you will be required to have a background check. Next. The Big View Committee, the community change, and you know, Reba, we didn't include you on the call. Did you want me to talk about the Big View team, or did you want to speak on that? Okay, so you go ahead. So the Big View Committee is really what we call it at Palmetto CAP, especially in E&E, is trends. So what we do is if we noticed a couple of years ago that we would have children to accept jobs and then they would fall off the face of the earth. Well, the reason why they fell off the face of the earth is because they had no transportation to get to work, or they had no money to pay people. Literally, this is truth. If you live in Upper Berkeley County before COVID, before the pandemic, if you need to go to if you live like in Cross, St. Stephen's area, if you needed to come to Charleston to go to the Social Security Admission, had an appointment at MUSC, that was $100 for, like, if Miss Tara was your neighbor, she charged you $100 for a round trip to get to Charleston. So a 17 or 16-year-old was going to just not show up to work because I don't have a ride. And why tell Ms. Brown that? But when we went to the St. Stephen's community and talked to the leaders of that community, we realized that the children needed a transportation stipend. So what's going to happen when we deal with circle leaders, when the allies are talking and they start seeing like, God, you know, it really would be beneficial if the Carter bus system ran until 9 o'clock at night. So what the Big View meeting would be is we would invite Carter to an event, and after we've trained and we build up the confidence of our circle leaders, they would tell Carter the issues that they're having in hopes that Carter will start working to change that. Another Big View meeting that I know that we're going to have is we're going to be inviting the Housing Authority about the difference between the City of Charleston and the County of Charleston Housing Authority, the difference between sliding scale rent or Section 8 voucher, because once you start seeing a trend or more than one or two circle leaders having the same issue, then you know this needs to be viewed. And a lot of times, just like the ally slide talked about, if you're not talking to people that don't live in your community, if you run the bus system, but you're not using it or relying on it to get to work, to go grocery shopping, you really don't know how it's impacting you. But when you get invited to the community and the circle leaders tell you up front what they're dealing with, then that's going to be your aha moment. I think a lot about this. If anyone has ever done the poverty stimulation, have been working in human service for a long time at that period. And the first time I went through the poverty stimulation, I started saying, why are all appointments between 8 and 4 o'clock when we require people to take off from work to come to an appointment? And a lot of the clients that we serve, if they don't work, they don't get paid. It took going through an event to have an aha moment. So our circle leaders are going to have the decision makers in our community and hopefully in our state hearing about how their policies or lack of policies are impacting them and keeping them in poverty. Again, because this will always be an in-person event. It might be hybrid, but I really believe it's going to be an in-person event. You will have to also pass a background check to be able to participate. And we know that a lot of you know a lot of people that are in the decision-making arena, and you would be who we'll be calling on to help us get those people at the Big View event. Yes. And then I'm going to turn it over to Tara. If you don't feel like any of those areas are where you can help us, rest assured we still have a place for you to be part of the team.
Yes, we do. Thank you, Ms. Jennifer. We know that some of these commitments, when we say we've got to commit to 4 meetings or you've got to commit to 18 months, we know sometimes that doesn't fit your schedule. You know, you may be a busy mom, you may be taking care of parents, you may just have a busy work schedule. And we want to let you know that not all of the opportunities are long-term, that there are other ways to be involved, such as sponsoring a youth activity. So when we have our youth, funding does not always allow us to buy supplies for the activities with the youth. So if you wanted to donate arts and crafts supplies, if you wanted to see if your company where you work that makes something that kids love wanted to donate it for that event, then that would be a great way to get involved. And it's even simple things like while we're waiting on people to come in, if the kids have homemade Play-Doh that they could play with, you know, while we're waiting on things to get started and you wanted to make that Play-Doh, there's opportunities there. We also have monetary and in-kind donation opportunities available for supporting the program. It takes a lot of people and a lot of materials to run the program, and we are always accepting monetary donations for that. In-kind donations could be things that we find out as we go along that our circle leaders need for meetings. Anything that the kids need for meetings that goes back to youth activity sponsorship, and food, food that goes home with our kids even after the meetings, in addition to the food for the meetings. Space donation, if you know a space that would be ideal for us to have youth separate from our circle leaders, We are looking for spaces that will accommodate probably up to 100 people for our big view meetings, because we have our circle leaders, we have their allies, we have our committee members, and then we have our policymakers that we want to invite, and plus our staff. So we are looking for those spaces. Like we said, we think churches are probably one of the most ideal spots, just because they have those kid-friendly parts of the building that would be good for our youth. But we are open to whatever may be available for us. And we are looking for space in all 3 counties, Berkeley, Charleston, and Dorchester. We want to make sure that not everybody is traveling from Cross to downtown Charleston for every meeting that we have. We want to try to spread the love around. There's also, if you want to sponsor a meal, like I said, if you don't want to be on the meal committee, but you think that you or your company might be willing to donate some Chick-fil-A for a meeting, we are happy to have you donate some Chick-fil-A. Y'all, I'm only saying Chick-fil-A because I know they cater. It could be anywhere that does something that we know that kids and adults both would happily eat for the most part. So any kind of meal sponsorship, even if it's that your company would make the meal and drop it off, you know, that's great. Pulled pork, pulled chicken, you know, barbecue, things like that are all good options. And then we're also looking for networking opportunities. If your place of business would allow us to come in and talk about circles to get volunteers, then we would love to do a lunch and learn at your business, or a virtual lunch and learn in COVID times. We also are looking for people who have connections to the policymakers, to the change makers, to the people that we want to get at our Big View Committee meetings, who may not be a Big View Committee member, but when they hear the voices of our leaders, are there to take the actions to get those changes made. And none of those are long-term commitments. Those can be one-time commitments. But we would love for you to think about your circles and how your circles might have other ways to be involved. And as we think about each of our circles and how we can reach out to those circles to see who may want to be involved, either in those one-time opportunities I just discussed or in the committees that we talked about, I just want to throw out some ideas. Of course, your friends and family, if you know anybody in your friends and family that loves kids and wants to come hang out with them, you know, for a few hours once a month, this is a great opportunity. If they love to cook and want to provide that meal. Oh, pizza. I forgot about pizza. How can I forget pizza? It's like the easiest meal known to man, right? That one's out there. So friends and family, if you have a family member who works at Little Caesars and Little Caesars wants to sign up to donate 1 month, we are happy to have Little Caesars on board. Your church members may want to be involved. I don't think we want to pin ourselves into a particular group for our allies, but sometimes, you know, when you think about people who recently retired and are looking for new purposes in life, you know, if you have anybody in your circles like that, maybe that's somebody who would want to be an ally. I know one of my friends is always talking about her third act, and what she's going to do with that third act, which she's starting right now. And I think this is a great opportunity for me to talk to her about becoming an ally as a way to get involved. Sororities and fraternities are always looking for civic engagement activities. So if you have sorority fraternity members in your household, or you're in a sorority or fraternity, that's a great circle to reach out to get them involved. Your business contacts, of course, would be wonderful additions for jobs and education, and for really any portion of the program. And y'all, whose hairdresser doesn't hear from everybody and their sister about everything? My hairdresser knows people that I met 10 years ago and had no idea she knew until they walked in the door. So hairdressers hear and see everything. My hairdresser ended up getting silent auction items donated for me because I told her about a silent auction I was doing. And she said, oh, my friend makes these awesome custom oyster knives. And so we can get a whole custom oyster knife kit together. And it was for an oyster roast. So it was perfect. So hairdressers, barbers, they know so many people. And then if you know community leaders, again, we want to get them involved. We want them to hear what our leaders are facing as challenges. So please think about your circle and who's in it. and if they can come join us and be a part of Circles Palmetto. We went through all of that pretty fast. So we want to entertain any questions you may have about what Circles is, what's involved in the different committees. And I'm going to turn over to Ms. Brown to answer any questions that you guys may have.
Thank you so much. So we gave you a lot of information and we wanted to be mindful of your time, but however, this is the question section. I don't know about anyone else, but my best questions and ideas come to me in the shower. So you may not come up with a question right now, but maybe 2 days from now, it might pop in your head. My email, the email address for my department is on there, as well as my phone number. And I am actually going to also put my, I'll leave that because I check that email a lot. But because I'm still in a hybrid work mode, email is really the best way to get in contact with me. But if you do leave me a voicemail, I will check it and get back in contact with you. So if there are any questions, I'll be more than happy to try to provide you with more information to help you as you help us expand our circle.
Do we have any questions from anyone?
Good evening, everyone. It's not a question. This is Mary Ann. I am not camera ready this afternoon, so that's why you don't see me. I have dust and everything all over the place, having some home repairs done. But thank you so much, first of all, for inviting me so I could listen in. I invited the rest of our team. I didn't see where any of them tuned in. However, this is great information, and definitely just figuring out a way to get involved. And you actually said this part at the end of it, you know, tapping into some of your circles. I was actually writing names down as you all were going through the presentation. And I said, gosh, I wish I thought to actually forward that invitation to those people. But, you know, I know a few people who really just love this type of activity, and we will just see what we can do and reach out to others. But I'm looking forward to working in some capacity with you. Thanks for all you all do.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. One of the reasons why we're recording this is that I had heard from some people that I invited, and you know, it's summertime and people are on vacation, you know, might have something else planned. So one of the things that we are going to be doing is we're going to be sharing the recording from the cloud for this. So you can send the person the email address that was on the slide, or if you already have an email address of Reba, Tara, or Summer, or myself, just send that to us and we will forward it.
Okay, great.
Yes, ma'am. Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for coming. Was there any other questions, comments, or concerns?
Go ahead. Anybody else?
Okay, at this time, Tara has put in the chat a link, and this is basically if you are interested, or if we could get you to fill out for your contact information, because we do want to follow up. This is the beginning of a process, and we do not, you know, we want to be able to circle back around and make sure that we include everybody. So if you could please go into this chat and click on the Google link. I am going to stay on, now again, if there are some questions, I'm going to stay on the Zoom meeting for a little while to give everyone the opportunity to fill out the Google form so that it can be returned to Tara, and then we can start following up with you on seeing what team you would like to be part of.
And I put the Google form in the chat. If the Google form doesn't work for you, just let us know. We have a fillable PDF and a Word document option for getting that contact information to us. And if for any reason you cannot reach us or Miss Jennifer, then I am putting my email in the chat as well.
So if I could please have Marianne, Danielle, Darian, and I'm not going to pronounce Klani because I might mispronounce that. If I could please get you guys to go ahead and fill out the Google form. We want to thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule and coming to this open house with us. We thank you wholeheartedly for that. And we are looking forward to working with you and you assisting us with expanding our circles to make Circles Palmetto a success. Thank you.
Always a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming to join us tonight. And if you guys will just take a minute on the form, we would greatly appreciate it.
And one of the things that I would like to say while we're doing this is that tomorrow is Shanez Scott's birthday, and she's going to be on vacation. So let's all, on the count of 3, wish her a happy birthday. 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday! And I also want to thank Takara Mazik for joining us. She also was a Summer Youth Works program participant. She's now our youth case manager in employment and education. So, and she's actually a little under the weather. So, but she still showed up with us tonight. So that's one of the things that as you are spreading the word about us to your community, we invest in our people. And when there's an opportunity to have them come on the team and they help us learn because they have benefited from the services that we provide, we welcome them to the team because that makes us better. And that becomes our big view. That helps us to have a different perspective so we'll know what services we need to continue and what services we need to revamp. Thank you.
Thank you so much,
yes, I think Mary Ann is asking for a fillable form. I'm thinking she can't click on the link in the chat. Is that, I'm not sure.
Miss Mary Ann, I will shoot that to your email.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
And so like I said, I'm gonna just stay just in case Darren and Kalia, I'm sorry, I don't want to mispronounce someone's name, if they're still filling out the form, but that concludes the program this evening. And again, thank you so much. I'm going to stay on for a few minutes just to make sure that everyone gets the opportunity to fill out the Google